Moving to Maine sounds like a dream. Slower pace, more space, ocean air, just an overall better lifestyle. But what most people don't realize until it's too late is that living here is very different from visiting here. And there are a few things, especially around cost, lifestyle, expectations, that most people get completely wrong. So in this video, I'm gonna break down the biggest things I wish I knew before moving to Maine and what I wanna make sure that you understand before making the move so you don't make a big mistake. Now, why does my advice matter? Why should you even consider watching the rest of my video? Well, I lived in Boston for close to a decade. 3 of those years were spent as a real estate agent. In 2018, my wife and I made the move to Maine from Boston, where we spent almost a decade. And since then, I've helped a lot of families do the exact same thing. Leave the city behind and build a completely different lifestyle up here. So what you're getting in this video isn't just theory, it's real lived experience from someone who's been through it personally and guided many others through it too. So pay attention. Some of these might actually surprise you. First and most importantly, Maine is a lifestyle shift, not just a location change, especially if you're coming from the city. There's a slower pace of life here, except on our highways where we have 70-mile-per-hour speed limits. Even in the cities, it's quieter than coming from cities like Boston and New York City, and you'll find yourself living more intentionally. If you're expecting Boston just with more trees, this is where people get caught off guard. When my wife and I first moved from Boston, it honestly took us about 6 months to adjust, and it wasn't anything huge. It was the little things, like nobody was beeping at us the instant the light turned green, and nobody was swerving around us. And you realize, wow, I was carrying way more day-to-day stress than I thought. And even socially, it's different. In the city, there was always someone around, always something going on. Dinners, drinks, options everywhere. And up here, a lot more people are just content to be home with their families. And that took some getting used to. And for the right person, that is exactly what they're looking for. Number 2, Maine doesn't just have all 4 seasons. It has a very real and very defined 5th season. Let's start with the basics. Winters are long and impactful. They aren't just a minor inconvenience, it actually shapes your whole lifestyle. If you don't have a good cold weather hobby, you could end up like a character out of a Stephen King novel. Very cold temperatures and a lot of snow. Summers, by contrast, are short-lived, but come with some of the best, if not the best, summer weather you can find in the entire country. It's truly magical. In the fall, our forests are ablaze with vibrant color, attracting leaf peepers from all over the world, and temps tend to stay comfortable all the way till mid-October. Which brings me to spring. Now, spring is split into 2 seasons, mud season and real spring. Mud season is the transition from winter into spring, and this can be truly chaotic time of year. The ground basically thaws unevenly, leaving major pockets of mud and sludge in driveways, yards, streets, etc. 4-wheel drive and a really good pair of boots will go a long way. Now, by mid-May, we see real spring, and that's just lovely. The plus side is that there are things to look forward to in every season, maybe except for the mud, even if that's just the first snow and how pretty it looks sitting on top of the tall pine trees throughout the state. Number 3 is convenience and trade-offs. This one surprises almost everyone coming from the city. There's far less convenience, far more planning, and fewer on-demand options. You don't run out quickly for things here. It's a planned mission. I remember when my wife and I first moved to Wells back in 2018, we were trying to DoorDash some food to the house, and there were not only no drivers, but there were no restaurant options on the app. Now, that has gotten a little bit better, but the reality remains the same. You will not have the same volume of options as you would in the city. You have to be more intentional about what you're doing, when you're doing it, and where you're doing it. For example, in many of the coastal towns, there are restaurants that close for weeks or even months during the winter, and at the very least, they have very limited hours. Or you'll find yourself driving to grab a cup of coffee as opposed to walking down the street to your nearest coffee shop. It's something to consider. Number 4, let's talk about cost, because this is where expectations can really get off track. There's no question, housing is, in most cases, more affordable than Boston. But what people don't factor in are the other costs. Here are a few examples. You're likely going to be using oil to heat your home as opposed to natural gas. Oil is the most common fuel type here in Maine, and most towns don't have natural gas hookups at the street. You have to hire a company to come deliver oil to your house, and it can be pricey. Snow removal is pretty self-explanatory. We get a lot of snow here in the state, and if you're moving out of the city, chances are you're moving out of an apartment or a condo where some of that is taken care of for you. You're going to need a snowblower, or you're going to need to hire a plowing company to get you out of your house when the snow comes down. A lot of homes don't have public sewer and public water. They use septic and a well. Many towns don't have that expansive public water and sewer system, if any, and those systems require maintenance. Another thing to consider is gas prices. Like I said, you're going to be driving a lot more than you're used to coming from the city, and so your gas expenses per month are going to reflect that. For example, I live in Wells and Portland is about a half hour away. It's about 33 miles away, which round trip is 66 miles, which is a few gallons of gas. So it's something to keep in mind. And then there's overall maintenance cost. I mean, if you're coming from a condo or an apartment and you're buying a single family home, there's going to be a lot of maintenance costs that you might not be prepared for. For example, when we moved into my house, I had to change out all of the exterior doors, which cost $10,000. I had to replace the driveway, which cost me $15,000. There's a lot of maintenance that needs to be done on these homes, especially as you get closer to the coast where you're dealing with salt air and more violent storms and things of that nature. So these costs aren't going to necessarily break the bank compared to the overall cost of living in the city, but it's important to know that moving from there to here isn't going to alleviate the cost on all levels. Number 5 is demographics and seasonality. Now, Maine actually changes depending on the time of year. There's the summer energy versus the winter quiet, the impact of tourism, local versus seasonal feel. When you're choosing a place to live, you're choosing how it feels 12 months out of the year, not just the 2 weeks that you're there for vacation. For example, in my town of Wells, the population drops from about 35,000 people on average in the summer to about 10 or 11,000 in the off season. This is driven by both tourism and our snowbird population, those who live here from May to October and then leave for warmer weather in the colder months. And it's worth mentioning that Maine's median age is 44.8 years old, which makes it the oldest state in the country, with the 65 plus age demographic continuing to increase in size. How could this affect you? I mean, I moved here in my late 20s. We've been able to find plenty of people our age with families that we can connect with and form deeper relationships with. It's just taken a little bit more effort than when we were in the city and we were surrounded by thousands and thousands of people our age. Number 6 is things to do. The upside and why people fall in love with Maine is the great outdoors. Whatever you like to do outdoors, you can do it in Maine. Snowboarding, skiing, hiking, surfing, carnivals, arcades, my kids love those, going to the beach. And did I mention the food scene? There are so many absolutely fantastic restaurants in this state, with Portland having the most restaurants per capita in the entire country. There's a friendly, vibrant community. There's space to grow. This is the part that makes it all worth it. My family and I are big foodies, and we have tried and enjoyed countless restaurants all up the seacoast, and I can confidently say that the food here rivals any restaurant in Boston. We have fair season in the fall where you can visit 25 different fairs throughout the state. The people are friendly and helpful, and we found that the friendships we were able to make here, even in the first year of living here, were deeper and more long-standing than most that we made in our decade in the city. And finally, number 7 is an honest gut check. Who is this good for? And I'll say this honestly because it matters. Maine is great for lifestyle-driven moves. Maine is great for families looking for a place to plant roots, like my own. It was either buy a shoebox in Boston and start a family, or buy a nice house with a lot of land near the beach and start a family there. It was a no-brainer. And lastly, people that are prioritizing space and pace over convenience. Maine is less ideal for fast-paced, high-convenience lifestyles. You like to go out a lot. You like to always have people around. You like the hustle and bustle and the sounds of the city. Maine might not be the right fit for you. And that's actually a good thing, because the people that it's right for absolutely love it here. Now, if you're even thinking about making a move to Maine, or even just starting to explore it, here's what I would recommend. Start by getting clear about what kind of lifestyle you actually want, not just one that looks good online. And if you want help figuring that out, what areas fit you best, what the market looks like, or what this move would actually look like for you, reach out to me. My contact information is in the description. I'm always happy to answer questions, talk through your situation, and just help you make a smart decision here. Now, I hope this video was helpful in deciding whether moving to Maine is the right fit for you. And if you want more tips for moving to Maine, or even local restaurant recommendations and neighborhood tours and all of the stuff that Maine has to offer, then please subscribe to this channel and follow me on Instagram. I'll see you there.